So without further ado, we're going to bring up COSY Sheridan and her husband, Charlie Koch, and they're going to entertain us. They are returning because, well, not because they have all these awards and are recording and all that kind of stuff, but because people like them, and here they are.
Thank you, Rob. Hi. We appreciate you liked us. Thank you, Rob. Before we came here today, we went to the Toyota dealer in Keene, where we picked up our new hybrid car. It kind of throws you out of your performer mind to sit there while they tell you about all the ways you can sign in to the Toyota Camry hybrid system and all the ways that you can make the radio work, and they play all the different radios you might want to listen to. Then you hand them the huge check. Then you give them your car. Charlie loved the car that we had to turn in. Let's have a moment of silence for Charlie's car. I want to thank whoever it is who made the poster, because in that picture I'm about 32 years old. And if I had been looking like that when I came to play for you, this is the song I would have been playing. Some days my life comes together, then it all comes apart, and I am told I have ambition where I should have a heart, and I have something on a long road, swinging wide either way. I don't know what's passing through from what's here to stay. History, chasing after rainbows, finding there's a thunderstorm at the other end. If I don't learn the first time, I won't learn the next time. The garden on me cautious gave a lot of thread to mend. Someone read my mind out there, take my hopes and dreams, build me a prayer. Can you find the words to the madness in my head? I am a little bit lost, a little quietly led, quietly led. These blue eyes, they get grayer year after year, and it sure ain't from lack of trying. No one got lost in here. I am told that I tried too hard. It isn't lose or win. No one can get lost. You're always rushing in. Someone read my mind out there, take my hopes and dreams, build me a prayer. Can you find the words to the madness in my head? I am a little bit lost, a little quietly led, quietly led. Someone was lying when they called the world round. Feels like one sharp corner and a long way down. You are taking my ambition, you're taking on my heart. If you can really read my mind, you know they do not come apart. Someone read my mind out there, take my hopes and dreams, build me a prayer. Can you find the words to the madness in my head? I am a little bit lost, a little quietly led, quietly led. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here. We drove up and we had an extra 5 minutes, so we drove to wherever they had the New Hampshire State Liquor Store, and we discovered you have a co-op. Really cool co-op, although I guess that's in the next town over. Do you want to sing a little bit? You don't have to. We're going to sing. So if you don't sing, it's not like there won't be anybody singing. There's not a lot of stress for you. These words came from my voice lesson. I take voice lessons online because my voice teacher's in New York State and I live in Harrisville, New Hampshire. And I was singing a song, and at the end of it she said, "When are you breathing?" So the chorus to this is, when are you breathing? How are you breathing? Just breathe and you will be fine. So you don't have to breathe with us. You don't have to sing. But this is my little mantra song for you. I want you to notice how much calmer I've become as a songwriter. I wrote the previous one when I was about 28 years old. But the one we're about to sing, I wrote at 59. I've learned that there's space. This right here, I call it the breathing room. I come here sometimes. When are you breathing? How are you breathing? Just breathe, you will be fine. There's a bed in the breathing room. Lie down sometimes. When are you breathing? How are you breathing? Just breathe, you will be fine. Just breathe, you will be fine. There's a window in the breathing room. I can see the stars shine. When are you breathing? How are you breathing? Just breathe, you will be fine. Just breathe, you will be fine. Ooh, sunny afternoon. Just breathe, says the breathing room. This right here, I call it the breathing room. I come here sometimes. When are you breathing? How are you breathing? Just breathe, you will be fine. When are you breathing? How are you breathing? Just breathe, you will be fine. Thank you.
I like that, being reminded to breathe. I get very tense up here sometimes. It's just like,
Well, you know, when
yeah, I could do that.
you don't notice how much you don't breathe until somebody says, "When are you breathing?" And to think about it, next time she was watching me do my live stream. We do a live stream every Tuesday morning, and I get a little hyper because I'm thinking, you know, people are out there and I got to do this, and I don't breathe that much. And I when she was asking me that, I thought, but I'm 59 years old. How come nobody taught me how to breathe? How come I have to learn it now?
Did anybody out there think about breathing while we were singing that song?
I mean, you're near Dartmouth Hitchcock. You should all be very good breathers. So we live down in Harrisville, which is about an hour and a half from here, especially if you drive it in a Toyota hybrid, while you're learning how the cruise control works. And it turns out it looks, you know, it's really not a good idea to try and learn things as you're driving about your car. It's best to learn them before you get in the car. But we were learning as we were in the car. We were trying to model a healthy couple, and I was trying not to panic when he kept pushing the button and looking down at what was there when, you know, the road's that way. But
she was hyper vigilant.
I was
In the midst of
hyper-vigilant.
making her 15 set list every
Yeah.
time.
You know, there's always the
There's
perfect
a little
order.
wiggle I hear her scream.
So we live down in Harrisville, and we mostly travel around New England these days, which is wonderful. But for many years, I was traveling all over the country. I was one of those young musicians they'd say, you know, if you go to Anchorage, Alaska, there's a gig there. There's not a lot of money, but it's great exposure. And if you go to Seattle, there's this little songwriter thing. It's really great. It's a lot of fun. Not a lot of money, but, you know, people will hear you. A lot of exposure. I went a lot of places for a lot of exposure, and I bet everybody who gets on this stage has the same story. We all go wherever we can. We get on any train we can. Well, no matter what our life is, if we want to have it happen, if somebody says you get on that train and it's going to take you to your life, you get on that train. All the pretty horses, all the lovely brides, all the girls who don't know how to get off of the ride. One more mile to Louisville and a ribbon for your hair. When I was young, I would get on any train, going anywhere. When the handsome smiles, they say one more mile, and then all the pretty horses wanna go. And the lovely brides, they get on and ride, when all the pretty horses wanna go. All the pretty horses wanna go. Do you love an apple, golden in the sun, peaches in the summertime, then the summer's done, and now I buy my peaches, once they were free. Nothing is ever how it always used to be. When the handsome smiles, they say one more mile, and then all the pretty horses wanna go. And the lovely brides, they get on and ride, when all the pretty horses wanna go. All the pretty horses wanna go. Some nights I think I have been too long at the fair. I set a bench in the garden, I spend my mornings there. I have no obligation, I do as I please, and all the pretty horses ride through my memories. When the handsome smiles, they say one more mile, and then all the pretty horses wanna go. And the lovely bride, they get on and ride, when all the pretty horses wanna go. All the pretty horses wanna go. And the lovely brides, they get on and ride, when all the pretty horses wanna go. All the pretty horses wanna go. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So this is a song I just wrote the other week. And you know, when you first write a song, you're totally in love with it. It's like a first date. You know, when you meet somebody on a first date, you haven't had to figure out what they're like in the morning. And so the song for a while is just magic for you. And my song right now is at that magic first date stage where you haven't had to deal with the toothpaste yet. But I've got some good feelings about this song. It feels like it might have legs, as they say. And the way it worked is, down in Harrisville, I don't know if you guys are in enough of a different weather place than we are, but in Harrisville right now, it's caterpillar time. And the caterpillars are crossing the road, and they're trying to get where they want to go, and you know, they're eating the milkweed, which is wonderful. But it breaks my heart to watch this caterpillar start out on a road that, you know, is going to take him all day, and unlikely he's going to make it to the end. So, this is for the caterpillar. He makes it to the end of the song, don't worry. little caterpillar, here by the side of the road, with a place you wanna go, but I can tell this will not end well. Little caterpillar, see this leaf I found? I'm gonna lift you off the ground, set you back there in the grass. I'm gonna save your ass. And I know my hand must be frightening. It's hard to understand what descends like lightning out of the blue, moving you, little caterpillar. We're only as tall as we are. We can only see so far, and we have to guess, and it can make a mess. Little caterpillar, if we could just back up and not care so much about where we're bound, if we could turn around, we just keep going. Sometimes that's all you've got, but art is knowing when to stop. But that's hard to do if you're stubborn like me and you. Little caterpillar, with your tiny plan, set out across the land. It's a blind leap, it's a hope we keep when you are crossing open ground. Keep your chin up and your head down, and hope that you know the blessing of an open road. Love on my side. Thank you. So standing over here is Charlie. And has Charlie spoken through the mic? He has. You spoke, right?
I did. I talked about breathing.
Oh, right. Charlie talked about breathing. Sometimes Charlie doesn't speak, and you don't hear him throughout the show. He's a quiet guy. And, you know, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to travel around standing over there. And about 10 years ago was when Charlie and I got together, and he started being my bass player. And before that, I'd been a professional musician for 25 years, and he'd been a tennis coach and a professional horseman, and he'd sailed boats. He hadn't done this. And I kind of threw him in the deep end of the pool. We'd go to the festivals, and there'd be a sound check, and they'd say, "Talk into your mic," and he'd be, and I'd say, "Just say anything." And I have to take him backstage to where there's often there's not here, but at like the big festivals, there's a lot of egos backstage, and poor Charlie, and we'd be like in the corner eating our brownies. I'd be like, you just got to get through this. So anyway, poor Charlie, he had to learn about the music business in a hurry. And recently, we both started teaching at these adult music camps. And you go for about a week, and you teach, you know, guitar, and you teach songwriting. And we had been at one last summer where I'd gotten COVID, and so I wasn't able to teach. I had just been there as a camper, but Charlie was there as a teacher. And at the end of the week, this very well-intentioned human being came up to me and said, "I'm thanking all the spouses for being so supportive of the teachers." And I said, "Thank you." And I managed not to be rude to her, but I went immediately to Charlie and I said, "She's thanking me for being your appendage." I'm definitely still fighting my mother's battles, but I was really annoyed by this. So for about 3 days, I said this to him continuously, and then finally on the third day, he looked at me and he said, "You know, I get that all the time." And I was chastened. So I wrote him this. This was my apology. Here's what we do. We fly through the air on the trapeze. I've been doing it so long, it's second nature to me. Then you walked in after your 9 lives and started juggling the knives. And on the rings you learned to catch me every time. Without love on my side, where would I be? All the magic in the act it's right beside me. Without love on my side, I would not believe. You gotta believe. You might as well just go on home. Here's the circus and here's the park. The lights go up when it gets dark, and I know how to do it on my own. But you have a magic wing, you make the rafters ring, and I got a bird who can sing. Without love on my side, where would I be? All the magic in the act, it's right beside me. Without love on my side, I would not believe. You gotta believe. You might as well go on home. It's not easy to join the circus when you're not a young man anymore. Swinging out over the big top, just a net between you and the floor. Maybe it doesn't always feel like the greatest of ease, but it's remarkable how you took to the flying trapeze. Without love on my side, where would I be? All the magic in the act, it's right beside me. Without love on my side, I would not believe. You gotta believe. You might as well just go on home. You gotta believe. Might as well just go on home. Thank you. We're going to go out on the fence. Thank you. Now, when I was younger, I didn't have to do this, but I have to look at my watch, obviously. Okay, I'm seeing where we are at. All right. That's my field hockey coach voice. That's the one if I got to talk to you over here.
I'm seeing the red light out there.
You seeing the red light? Yeah. No, that's the camera, Charlie. That's the camera.
Oh, no, over here.
We're going to play one more song. I was going to do something else, but I've decided I want to do this. I grew up in New Hampshire. I grew up in Concord. Thank you. I grew up in Concord, and my parents were pretty active in local politics. They used to have cocktail parties, and we would come downstairs, and my mother would wear perfume. And I would know we were having a party because the house would have the perfume smell. And in fact, I still have her little perfume thing. I can take it out. I can still smell like a party from a governor, something like that, or something for some other person that's running for something. And if you live in New Hampshire, you're used to politics coming right to you. It's a big thing. And then I moved to Utah for 20 years. And living in New Hampshire, I thought I was living in a very politically troubled area. But if you move to Utah, New Hampshire looks like, we've got it all figured out. It looks pretty good. And then I moved back, and we lived down in Harrisville. And here we are in this election time. And I don't know about you, but, it's a stressful time. And I was listening to various people who were saying, you should talk to your neighbors about who they're voting to. And I'm not going to talk to my neighbor. I love my neighbor. She's a nice woman, and she wants to get along with me, and neither of us know who the other one's voting for, and neither of us are quite sure we're voting for the same person. And so we're just really polite to each other, but I don't want to make trouble in our neighborhood. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm not sure if I feel like I'm copping out or if I'm doing a good community neighborhood event. And I'm a little torn about it because I see signs everywhere. So this is a song that I wrote back after the 2016 election. And I had moved to Massachusetts when I first came back east because Charlie had a house in Maynard, Massachusetts. And his house in Maynard, Massachusetts was in a very urban area. And there was your house, there was a driveway, another driveway, and the next house. And you could watch each other's television. You definitely knew your neighbor. But the house next to him was empty for the first year and a half that I lived there with him. And when a house is empty next to you, it starts to feel like your real estate. You think, oh, that's my area. And, you start to psychically move into it. But he calls me one day when I'm on the road, and he says, there's people looking at the house next door. I said, oh, yeah. He said, yeah. They're both recently divorced, but they've just gotten together as a couple. And between them, they have 5 teenagers. I said, wow. You know that fence we were talking about putting up between our driveways? Maybe we should do that. And we talked about it for a while, but we decided to put it up. Because we couldn't put it up once they moved in. We had to do it beforehand. It had to be, you know, an advance event. So they move in, nice, sweet people, and we go over to meet them, and we're getting to know them, but it's a little slow because I have inserted a fence in between us that was not there when they looked at the house. And they're sweet people, but they're a little bit shy, we're a little bit shy, so it's taken some time. I can go up into my upstairs bedroom and I can look over the fence into their driveway to see that they're really nice people, and I can watch the mom playing with her kids and tell they're really nice people. I go down to a resale shop and I buy stuff, but we're not really getting to know each other until February 2017, the day of the Women's March in Boston. And I'm pulling out of my driveway because I'm going to go to the Women's March with my pink hat. I'm all ready. And she comes out of her house to take her trash out or something. And she says, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to the Women's March." She said, "I'll meet you there." Did you see the Boston Women's March? 500,000 people or so on the Boston Common. There was no way we were going to find each other that day. That wasn't going to happen. But we decided that we would. So we exchanged phone numbers. So all day during the Women's March, we're texting each other. And you know, you get to know somebody pretty well when you're texting in a sort of fraught situation, when you say, well, there's 100,000 people around me. I have no idea where I am. I'm near the statue. Are you near the statue? No, I'm not near the statue. I'm near the coffee shop. I'm not near the coffee shop. We never found each other that day. But I started to get to know her. And I wish I'd done that a lot earlier. Because I don't know if you remember, but it was a troubled time. When the neighbors first moved in, I'm the one who built the fence. I'm the kind who can hold out her hand if I know my line of defense. We are living in interesting times, and the sky falls every day. And I used to think my fence could make the world go away. But this morning all I know is I want to fall down and cry. This morning I don't need my fence, I need my neighbor on the other side. I've seen my neighbor with her children in the morning, driving them to school. And I've seen her play a game in the driveway. She knows how to set and bend a rule. And I don't know that much about her, but I dropped in and we talked at her store. And each time I come away wanting to know a little bit more. And this morning all I know is I want to fall down and cry. And this morning I don't need my fence, I need my neighbor on the other side. I'm not the first one to a protest, and I am the last one with a sign. And I mostly want to be left in peace to make my pretty designs. And I don't know from trade agreements, and I don't understand all I hear. But I wasn't certain when the neighbors moved in, and now I am glad they are here. And this morning all I know is I want to fall down and cry. This morning I don't need my fence, I need my neighbor the other side. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Cozy Sheridan and Charlie Koch, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful.